This is John, and this is Tom. They work at the same firm. They're the same age, but John outranks Tom significantly. John is the one people clap for, the future of the company. He's going places. Tom, on the other hand, Tom is solid, reliable, but nothing exceptional. This is how their days look from the outside. John is in stressful meetings with higher-up executives. These meetings are always tense, always emotionally loaded. John looks thin, worn out from work. The stress is visible on his face. Tom, on the other hand, looks healthy, strong, muscular. He's smiling, in a good mood. But sometimes he looks through those office windows where John is sitting with the higher-ups. John is a sales manager. Sales are plummeting. Numbers on the screen, red arrows, downward trends. There is always some kind of gap. He has a meeting with the CEO. It's intense, not loud, not chaotic, but emotionally heavy. The CEO looks at the numbers and says, "You need to grow." John pauses. "How?" he asks. "I've done everything I can. We've tried 2 different strategies. Nothing worked. And there are deeper strategic problems we're not even addressing." The CEO answers, "This is not a strategy problem. This is a mindset problem. You should have had your eyes on this problem long ago. I'm constantly hearing some excuses. My question for you is, what will you do? What is your solution for this problem? You have come unprepared for this meeting. By the end of the week, I want you to send me an email highlighting your strategy. How will you fix this?" The meeting ends. John walks out calmly, professional, controlled. But inside, something burns. He's angry. Angry because the CEO keeps pushing the entire weight onto him, while deeper structural problems inside the company remain untouched. Problems far outside his actual authority. Angry because no matter how much he fixes, the spotlight always lands on what's missing. Angry because he's a grown man, and yet in those meetings, he's made to feel like a child being corrected. Then he remembers something his old mentor once told him. The most important skill a sales manager needs is the ability to get scolded by higher-ups and not get worked up about it. Just focus on what you can control and deliver the result. John exhales. He knows the rule. He just hates how often he has to live by it. And after every meeting like this, he keeps replaying it. On the way home, while brushing his teeth, lying in bed, he keeps digesting it emotionally long after work hours are over. The meeting ended at 4:30. The CEO goes home, but John, he did not see the end of it today. His boss called him into a one-to-one. The door closed. "John, what happened in there wasn't good. I know you were promoted young. I know you have strong qualities, but today you handled that poorly." John stayed silent. "You asked the CEO for a solution. That's not how things work around here, buddy. You bring solutions. You don't escalate the problem back up." If I'm being honest with you, that came across as immature. The word hangs. It looked weak, and in this position, it makes you look incompetent. Silence struck. "I'm telling you this because I believe you can grow, but right now, there's a serious gap between where you are and where you need to be." Ah, yes, the gap. John is constantly fighting it. The gap between actual sales and planned sales, between who he is and who he needs to become. He's always trying to close it, always adjusting, always pushing, constantly sitting in emotionally charged meetings, constantly absorbing pressure from above. And deep down, he knows something. This pace isn't sustainable. It's not realistic to live like this long term. But he has always been proactive. He has always asked for honest feedback. It's just that now it hurt more than he would like to admit. Nevertheless, John goes back to his desk and starts thinking about how to grow sales. He thinks and thinks, but no real ideas come. It's 8 p.m. The cleaning staff are leaving and ask him to turn the lights off on his way out since he's the last one in the building. He has just spent 3 hours thinking in circles, while all the operational work sits untouched. Now he's behind schedule, drained emotionally and physically, 3 coffees deep, which means proper sleep is out of the picture. Still, he decides to call it a day and go home. It's Friday. He walked outside. It was summer, so there was still light. The beautiful red waves of the setting sun fell across his face. He squinted slightly, feeling a soft tension in his eyes from the brightness, and for a brief moment, he simply stood there and let the sun touch him. Since he enjoyed the sun, he decided to take a small detour and walk home along the beach. The shift in atmosphere almost startled him. Just minutes ago, he had been in a silent, sterile office. Here, everything felt alive. As he walked, he kept emotionally digesting the meetings, but a few words kept resurfacing. Weak, immature,
incompetent for this position. The words replayed again and again. He felt vulnerable, small, almost borderline worthless. Meanwhile, the world around him seemed to operate on a completely different frequency. It was summer. It was Friday. Girls were walking in shorts and light dresses. Kids were laughing, running, playing volleyball in the sand. Music drifted in from somewhere nearby. Everybody's happy, he thought, and as he kept walking, he noticed a beach bar up ahead. Light, easy music was playing. People were dancing, laughing, drinking. Everything felt effortless, relaxed, enjoyable. John looked inward and asked himself, how are all of them happy? Why am I the only one who feels miserable? It can't be that I'm worse than all of them. As he kept sinking deeper into his thoughts, a familiar voice cut through the noise. John, John, over here. It was Tom. He saw that he was in a suit. The difference in clothing alone was enough to see the difference in their emotional states. You are not normal. You are coming right from work, aren't you? John just nodded his head. Come on, man, sit with us, have a few drinks. You need to loosen up a little bit. John always hated that sentence, but just looking at Tom in his shorts and then looking himself in his suit was enough to convince him. It's really nice here, John said. The whole summer we've been partying here, every Friday. I've called you several times, but you were always busy. But hey, at least you managed to catch the last one. The last one? John asked. The last one, he thought again. He always declined before, knowing it would mean drinking and getting home late. The weekends were the only time he could exercise, and he didn't want to trade that for partying. John and Tom were good friends at work. Since they both joined the company, John had always outranked Tom by 2 or 3 positions, but it never mattered to John. He never let his ego get in the way of his relationships. In the few free minutes he had, he genuinely enjoyed Tom's company. Tom was always happy, easygoing, and had a fun attitude. He was like a generator of positive energy in the office, and people genuinely liked being around him. But now, looking at Tom, his whole worldview felt like it was shifting. Something was off. He had felt it before, like a small internal discovery, a quiet realization that something was different here. First, the vibe of the place hit him. People dancing, singing, laughing on the beach. Everyone happy. Tom has been experiencing this every Friday, while my Fridays are spent in bed early so I can get up and work. And then it hit him. The best years of my life are passing by, while I'm stuck thinking about problems. This wasn't just about partying or girls. For most of his adult life, John had been unhappy, anxious, always studying, learning, improving, never letting himself stray from his goals. Then a beautiful girl with long brown hair approached them, smiling. Very cute, just John's type. But she came for Tom. Would you like to dance? She asked. Tom just smiled and took her hand. Sorry, man, I need to go, but feel free to stay. Someone will come up to you too. John nodded, signaling him to go, as any normal guy friend would. Then he watched. For a brief moment, he observed them dancing. Their skin touched lightly, both smiling, singing, completely in the moment. Then he thought this girl would give him far more happiness than any promotion or hitting a sales target. Tom was in great shape, good looking. It was obvious why she chose him. She liked him, not his money or his position. Then John thought about the gap. Does Tom ever think about the gap? Does anyone in this beach bar think that deeply? Probably not. And then it hit him. Life is a game, and the purpose of the game is to strengthen the main character, yourself. There are levels of character strength based on virtues, resilience, and the challenges a person can tolerate and overcome. Tom is level 40, John is level 60, and it's obvious: salary, knowledge, problem solving, general life competence. Both came from similar backgrounds, both are equally intelligent. Both started at the same natural baseline, level 20. The difference? By 30, John pushed himself to level 60. Tom only reached level 40. For a moment, John felt a little better. Then he saw Tom dancing with the girl again, level 40 and 10 times happier than me. He's on his natural, comfortable baseline, not chasing some unreachable gap. Now John felt strange. That same day, he left work feeling worthless, resolved to push himself to level 80. He looked at the girls again. I've lived in this city, and in my whole 20s, I haven't been here once. My whole youth has passed, and I haven't really enjoyed life. He called it a day and went home, but sleep wouldn't come, so he turned on the TV. A documentary caught his eye, The Top 1%. He watched closely. Nothing drives output and results like competition. The show interviewed top neurosurgeons, athletes, CEOs, entrepreneurs. Then Michael Phelps appeared, the swimmer with the most Olympic medals in history. But the documentary didn't start with medals. It started with the cost. Phelps trained every single day for 5 straight years. No holidays, no Christmas, no skipped sessions. 2 to 3 practices per day, 6 to 8 miles in the water, plus strength training. And then he spoke openly about the toll it took. Minimal social life, minimal spontaneity, every moment optimized for winning, not happiness. John paused the documentary. He started thinking. Compare Phelps to an average professional swimmer. The average swimmer trains hard, but keeps balance, friendships, a normal life, and the average swimmer is probably happier day to day. Because once you push into the top 1%, the equation changes. The first levels of success increase happiness, financial stability, respect, security, those matter. But beyond a certain point, the curve flattens. Then it bends. Extreme output demands extreme trade-offs, chronic stress, social sacrifice, identity tied to performance, constant internal pressure. Then John thought about the girl at the beach bar. He realized a beautiful relationship, friends, travel, time to cook, exercise, and rest would bring him more happiness than hitting a sales target. And suddenly it hit him. All of this, the constant grind, the structured days, the pressure, was stealing the moments that actually make life enjoyable. Letting yourself breathe despite the gap. Feeling good about yourself even if you're not in the top 1%. But of course, all of this would cost his sleep, energy, and results. So what is the real question? Not who is better, but what are you optimizing for? If your goal is happiness, balance wins. Moderate success, strong relationships, health, freedom from constant pressure. If your goal is exceptional achievement or building something bigger than yourself, comfort becomes secondary. You cannot maximize both at the same time. Extreme results and maximum happiness rarely coexist. John realized something. Tom is playing a different game. The difference between average and exceptional is the willingness to accept the cost. John turned off the TV. The question was, which life does he actually want? To be a happy, comfortable, average person or a stressed winner? The next morning, John wakes up with a headache and his phone rings. It's Tom. Hey man, sorry I ditched you last night. The girl just went home from my place. I couldn't talk. Want to grab a drink this afternoon? They meet at the same beach bar again. John watches Tom. He doesn't need to say a word. His energy radiates the wisdom he carries effortlessly. He's relaxed, happy, naturally high vibe, living fully in the moment, no mental pressure. John realizes he has a lot to learn from Tom, but he's not satisfied. What's your formula? He asks Tom. How are you always so happy? Tom smiles. No past, no future. If I screw something up, I just start fresh, like I'm starting from zero. When I make a decision, I don't overthink it 1,000 times. Honestly, I make decisions easier than you do, and I take life way less seriously. He laughs softly. I owe a lot of this to my mother. She let me make mistakes. That's why what they demand at work feels insane to me sometimes. But hey, I haven't really achieved anything monumental, so who am I to judge? John remembered his childhood. Every mistake came with strict punishment. Every wrong choice tied to his self-worth. He never had the freedom to fail. And that's why he felt worthless after his meeting with his boss. And that's why Tom can have great relationships independent of success. His self-worth isn't tied to results. Tom chuckles. I really like Sally from work, but she has eyes only for you, like most of the girls in the company. John raises an eyebrow. He already knows work is the one place where younger colleagues are often attracted to him, but he never acts on it. Complications are a guarantee. Tom continues. It's obvious. Everyone's drawn to your success, and you just politely interact with them. You could have anyone, but you don't even notice them. And since you asked me, I'll ask you the same. What's your formula for success? I know no one works as hard as you here. John laughs. Winning in the corporation isn't just about working hard. I can show you. There are trade-offs, but you don't need to grind like me to get meaningful results. Just not today. I'm hungover. Tom grins. And I can help you with the ladies. I saw how you looked at that girl last night. I know a few I can introduce you to. Then John added, and I'll put in a good word for you with Sally too. Once again, John thought deeply. It all boils down to what you want out of life. A peaceful, carefree life, or to be a stressed overachiever. Both have their pros and cons. He sees that he has a lot to learn from Tom. John realized he needed to stop anticipating danger in everything, to let go of control when it wasn't needed, and simply relax. He needed to feel stress less intensely, to stop letting every trigger shake him. Life didn't always have to be so serious. He could be more carefree, make decisions with ease, and let his mind breathe instead of overthinking every detail. He could handle stress calmly and focus on the work itself, without letting pressure consume him. In his free moments, he could live fully in the present. No past, no future, just wake up and enjoy life. And most importantly, he had to stop tying his self-worth to results, to know that even in the hardest moments, he had already achieved enough.